Hi, and welcome back to Tuesdays at 2 with Haven. My name is Julie, and today we are going to be talking about the One Room Challenge. So, just to start, for anyone who does not know about the One Room Challenge, this was started a number of years ago by a designer who was finding herself challenged with finishing a space in her own house. And so she began posting her progress through the room and became a huge challenge that now takes place twice a year in May and October every year, and something that a lot of designers get into and bloggers as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Ours is not exactly at every Wednesday, but you'll see the progress along the way as we move through the space. So let's start here with our one room challenge. Today, we're going to be taking this drab den to a fab club room. So to start, I'll tell you a little bit about these clients. This was a suburban couple in their mid 30s, so a young couple, no kids. And they had this house and they're looking to have the first floor revamped a little bit. So let me go on to this next slide here. You'll see that the room that we're talking about is here on the corner, and we did do quite a lot of work on this house. As you can see from the left, we did take down walls, we relocated the kitchen island, made some changes to her dining room space as well, and then wanted to give some definition to this den space that they just weren't using and they weren't sure what to do with. So taking it from the space that was just kind of a catch-all and making it into something with purpose. So a little bit about what my clients were looking for here in this room is a bit of a hybrid that they have an entertaining space as they have a lot of family over and they do a lot of entertaining. So they wanted to have a place where they can gather, but also a place that when no one's over except themselves and when they're home alone, they can use it to relax. So more of a reading space as they are both avid readers. We also wanted to give us a little bit more of a high function in terms of changing it into a space where people can just be relaxed and play a game. So that's a little bit more tied into it. But you'll see that we started by really kind of defining the room. We did give it a little bit more space. Once we relocated the wall, we took it in a little bit on the left, gave bigger doorway to our wet bar and our seating space in the pub room, and really gave it a nice look. It's a good feature when you first walk into the space. So we started with looking at inspiration and the ideas of things that we wanted to make happen in this room. So we wanted it to have a bit of a touch of a gentleman's lounge. So you can see all the fun features that are happening in these photographs. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of luxury. It's definitely dark and intimate, and that ambiance just really reads as upscale. Noting to the also the decorative wall that's in behind both of those pictures. So one has the cabinet on top and one has the wall definition on the bottom. It looks like those are panels on the wall potentially. But so just noting that those walls in a lot of these gentlemen clubs or the smokers lounges and the good old boy club kind of spaces, those always have some kind of definition on the wall. So we wanted to make sure that we brought that into the space as well as having that dark and luxurious vibe. So we moved forward with taking a look at what we could do to enhance our space. We did add the upper and lower cabinets that you see on the left. There's also a wet bar and wine fridge, and we did add a backsplash, which I'll show you in just a moment. But we really wanted to add some of that interest onto the walls and start to bring that ambiance in and really set the space as very moody. You can see that we had done some paint swatches on the wall. We really wanted to test how dark we were going to go. And then we diagrammed out our custom wainscoting. So for this process, just know that you don't have to be hesitant to add decoration to your wall. This was a rather inexpensive update that we did to this room and not super contractor heavy. So if you are handy, this is the kind of project you can take on DIY. We just took some 1x boards, mapped it out, measured, and really created the look of how we wanted the space to come together. And then installed the 1x boards, nailing it straight in, covering our nail holes, and then using paint to cover it so it looks like one finished space, which is really sophisticated. But also, we wanted it to have a little bit more play just because this was a younger couple. So we didn't go all the way up to the ceiling. We didn't make it super formal in that space. We just did the 2/3 of the wall from the 2/3 down. And that just adds a little bit more element of interest, a little bit more playfulness. And you'll see when we get to the final product how it really shines through. Like it's not something that you have to go all in on. You can do a little bit here and there. So always feel free to take risks with fun things like custom wainscoting. In our selections, we really did want the space to repeat that look of that luxury, the depth, the darks, the lights, the darkness of the room and the lightness of the furniture and the golds and the woods and the brasses. So we started by kind of working our way through that. We really wanted to go more traditional in the area that's going to be more of the pub side, so with the wet bar. And we wanted that to have a bit more of that kind of Irish kick, make sure that we kind of did our nod to the homeowners as that's part of their heritage. So we chose a very classic basket weave for the backsplash, which also reads a little bit Celtic, and that's really nice because it has a good way of kind of hybriding both those things. The other client in this situation used to raise horses, so we wanted to bring some of those elements in to tie in some of his interests as well. So we took our basket weave and we made that our leading inspiration, and then we pulled some of those repeating patterns over as we were making the other selections. So you'll see from the bookcase that we chose, this is going to have great game storage for when our clients are entertaining, books for when they're reading, and then it's just a really good look and the aesthetic of it as well. But that front door that slides has the window pane design, which meets a little bit of the look in that repetitious pattern of the basket weave. So kind of gave ourselves a little nod to the wet bar from the opposite side of the room. And then we added in our lounge chair, which has that nice rich brown leather fabric. And the bar stools, or the pub stools that we used in this space are side table and stool hybrids. So they can be used as a drink holder, they could be used as a footrest, or they could also be used as additional seating when they have guests come over. Or it's great to put them both together and make that a place to play a game too. So we had executed a lot of function for this space. And then we wanted to bring some of that beautiful art that we took, that we just added to the wall, and those elements that we just added into our bookcase and also into the wet bar, to the wet bar. We brought that down onto the floor with our rug. So you can see we use this plaid rug, gorgeous rug runner. We didn't want to go heavy on covering the floors that we just put in this space, but also we wanted it to still have a soft look. So I'm a huge fan of using a rug runner whenever possible, especially in long, narrow spaces like in front of this bookcase. So again, here's our before photo of the room. It was sort of just a catch-all, didn't have a whole lot of definition. There wasn't a good use for it. And it was just sort of overlooked and not as exciting. And once we finished, we had this gorgeous finished club room for them. Again, I want to take a note to the custom wainscoting that we added, and you can see on the left how we're just going those 2/3 of the way up the wall. It still adds a lot of interest, and it gives a little bit of breathing room up above it too. It's really sophisticated, the way this whole room came together, and I'm very excited about our finished product. So if you'd like to get the look, here's where you can find the pieces that we pulled for this room. We hope that you've enjoyed this Tuesdays at 2 and found it exciting and interesting. And we hope that it inspires you to do your own one room challenge and get some excitement and inspiration for your home. And we hope that you will join us every other Tuesday with Tuesdays at 2 with Haven. We will be back again on February 16th to discuss oddly shaped rooms, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.